Hello again. I was slightly staggered to read this morning that extensive study of 8 skeletons recovered from the Mary Rose, that's Henry VIII's flagship, which sank in the Solent in the 16th century, revealed the crew were to be diverse and include ethnic minorities. The Guardian, always first out of the trap on such occasions, had headlines which proclaimed that Mary Rose ship had multi-ethnic crew, study shows. Analysis of remains of crew on Henry VIII's favourite warship sheds light on diversity in Tudor England. The author of the actual report said that this adds to the ever-growing body of evidence for diversity in geographic origins, ancestry and lived experiences in Tudor England. I have no idea what's meant by lived experiences, but I'm sure that somebody commenting here will be able to help me out there. Other newspapers specifically mention Africans, the possibility of African crew on the Mary Rose. Rather than rely upon newspapers, I, as usual, tracked down the original source, which is a report. I'll go into that in a minute. In the description to this video, I provide a link to the report. I mean, these are such bizarre claims that it is worth looking at them in some detail. I will mention again something which I have before remarked upon, and that is the cunning way that the word African is slipped into conversations of this kind. Today, when we talk of Africans, we almost invariably mean black people. So it is that when people talk of an African Roman emperor, it conjures up in many people's minds an image of a black man wearing a toga. In almost every single case where this linguistic trick is played, including the reports today, African actually means somebody who was born in or on the Mediterranean coast of North Africa. That is to say, an Arab, Berber, Phoenician or Roman. What has actually been revealed this morning is exactly what one would have expected. 8 skeletons were examined and the isotopes in their teeth measured. This is a way that you can tell the geographical region where people grew up. As we eat and drink, we absorb differing proportions of minerals into our teeth, and these accumulate there and give a permanent record of our childhood location. What did these analyses show about the crew members from the Mary Rose? I'll give a link to the actual research, which is couched in such opaque language as to render it incomprehensible to any normal person. Here they are in this original report talking about somebody who they think might have been African. During a photogrammetry study of FCS-0976, it was suggested that this individual may have been of African ancestry, and additional craniometric and morphological analysis was conducted to test this. Osteological ancestry estimation is not often applied to archaeological remains in Britain. The authors acknowledged the problematic history of ancestry estimation stemming from early pursuits of scientific racism. Although we recognise the methodological and ethical concerns regarding these approaches in forensic contexts, we also agree that not seeking evidence of human diversity and phenotypic variation in the archaeological record only obscures it further, something historians are actively addressing. I hope that's clear. The bottom line is that they use the discredited 4-disc system of measuring skulls. In other words, classic Nazi pseudoscience for racialism. They couldn't come up with a definite answer, even using these methods. Later, we read that the 8 Mary Rose individuals have 87SR/86SR values compatible with British origins. In other words, they were most likely born and brought up in Britain. That was certainly the case for 5 of them, and the other 3 may possibly have grown up elsewhere in Europe, but it's not certain. Perhaps Spain or Italy, for example. As regards the one who is being claimed as African, the evidence here is all but non-existent. This is certainly not being done in a scientific way. I'll come to that in a minute. He was definitely, according to their report, not black. They recovered some DNA, certainly wasn't black, as in sub-Saharan African. But they say that, interestingly, FCS-70, the Royal Archer, had a leather wrist guard bearing the symbol of a pomegranate, associated with the Moors in the medieval and early modern periods, as a fruit they had brought from Europe from Africa, and was also a symbol used for Catherine of Aragon's branch of the English royal family. Considering the potential elevation of some values due to dietary factors, it is possible that this individual was an Iberian Moor. This is not science. Looking at someone, I own things. I have jewellery, I have possessions, things that came from other parts of the world. Owning a leather wrist guard with a certain symbol on it doesn't tell you anything at all about the ancestry of a skeleton. It's not science. The conclusion is anyway that this could be a Spanish person with some Arab ancestry. Maybe. It is upon such slender grounds, buttressed by the methods used by the Nazis to classify people into various races, that all the newspaper reports that people have seen this morning are based.